stop for just a moment and give this your full attention. Don't rush past these words, because what you're about to hear is presented as a message that could change the direction of your life. The invitation before you is simple: remain until the end and receive what heaven has prepared, or walk away and miss what this moment is offering. The choice is entirely yours, but according to this message, what happens next begins with that decision. Right now, you are being asked to imagine that heaven is watching. Angels are described as standing around you, waiting to see what you will do next. The message suggests that this is no ordinary moment, but one that comes only once in a lifetime. It says that every distraction must be set aside because something significant is about to unfold. And the next few minutes deserve your complete attention. Before moving forward, there is also a reminder about the support link available through the pinned comment. Every contribution, no matter how small, is described as a seed that can grow into future blessings. The message presents this support not simply as generosity, but as part of a shared mission to continue spreading words of encouragement and hope. You are then reminded that arriving here was not presented as an accident or a random event. According to the message, you were led to these words at exactly the right time because heaven has been reaching out to you. It suggests that unseen obstacles have been standing between you and the blessings you have been waiting for, delaying the breakthrough you have long desired. Today, however, the message claims that those barriers are about to be confronted, provided you stay focused and do not allow your attention to drift elsewhere. Before revealing what comes next, you are invited to take a simple action by leaving the word "ready" in the comments. The message describes this not as an ordinary comment, but as a personal declaration that you are prepared to receive what has been waiting for you. It encourages you to make that commitment openly as a sign that you are approaching this moment with sincerity and expectation. The tone then becomes deeply personal, acknowledging the hardships you may have experienced. Every hidden tear, every quiet prayer, and every difficult battle is described as something that has been seen all along. Even during the moments when you believed you had been forgotten or left to struggle alone, the message insists that you were never abandoned. Instead, it says that unseen work has been taking place behind the scenes, preparing for this very moment. The message continues by speaking about your destiny, describing you as someone who was chosen from the very beginning. It says that a spiritual seal was placed upon your life from birth, protecting you through every hardship, every valley, and every storm you have faced. According to this message, that seal has preserved you through moments when destructive forces seemed determined to defeat you. And now the time has finally arrived for what has been stored within it to be released. Next comes the introduction of 3 divine seals. These are described as ancient spiritual locks that have been placed over different areas of your life, preventing blessings from reaching you. The message emphasizes that each seal represents a separate area where progress has been delayed, and it explains that every one of them must be addressed carefully. It also urges you not to skip ahead or lose focus, claiming that leaving before the process is complete would cause those seals to close once again. The first of these is introduced as the seal over provision. According to the message, this is the barrier that has restricted financial increase and prevented opportunities from fully developing. It connects this seal to seasons of financial struggle, missed opportunities, and the feeling of working tirelessly without ever truly moving forward. The message suggests that this blockage has remained in place for years, limiting the flow of provision and making every step more difficult than it should have been. As these words continue, the message claims that the first seal is already beginning to crack. It asks you to pause and consider whether you can sense that something is changing around you. More importantly, it explains that this seal was never intended to remain forever. Instead, it describes it as a period of testing, a time when heaven was watching to see whether your faith would remain strong, even when circumstances gave you every reason to lose hope. The message says that this test was not about having full bank accounts or easy answers. It was about continuing to believe when resources appeared scarce, continuing to give thanks when nothing seemed to change, and continuing to trust even when life no longer made sense. According to the message, your perseverance became the evidence that your faith had remained intact, and because of that, the first seal is now ready to be broken. Before describing that breakthrough, however, the message asks for another act of participation. It invites you to press the like button as a public expression that you believe what has been spoken. According to the message, heaven, this action represents agreement with heaven, signals readiness to receive what is coming, and demonstrates a refusal to surrender to fear or discouragement. It then declares that the first seal has finally been broken, releasing provision and marking the beginning of a new chapter, while encouraging you to remain faithful as the story continues. With the first seal now described as broken, the message encourages you to hold firmly to your faith instead of allowing doubt to return. It says the days ahead may bring signs that seem unexpected. A financial opportunity that appears without warning, a door that once seemed permanently closed opening at the perfect moment, or provision arriving from a source you never anticipated. Whether those moments unfold exactly as expected or not, the message urges you not to let discouragement convince you that nothing has changed. But instead to continue watching with hope and confidence. From there, the focus shifts to the second seal, introducing an entirely different area of life. This one is described as the seal over relationships. According to the message, this spiritual barrier has kept the right people from entering your life while allowing unhealthy connections to remain. It links this seal to seasons of loneliness, misunderstanding, and repeated disappointment, suggesting that you often felt unseen because the people around you could not recognize your true value. The message explains that this second seal is already beginning to crack. It presents this as the beginning of a new season in which different kinds of relationships are about to enter your life. These are described as people who will encourage your purpose rather than discourage it, recognize your potential instead of overlooking it, and support the direction your life is taking rather than standing in its way. However, the message also makes it clear that welcoming those new relationships may require making difficult decisions. It suggests that some existing connections have become emotionally draining or have consistently pulled you away from the future you hope to build. According to the message, letting go of relationships that continually hold you back is not an act of rejection, but an act of making room for healthier and more encouraging connections. The message emphasizes that this process requires faith. It asks you to believe that better relationships are possible, even if your past experiences have left you disappointed. It encourages you to stop accepting connections that diminish your confidence or prevent you from growing, trusting instead that something healthier lies ahead. As another expression of participation, the message invites you to comment the word open. It describes this as more than simply typing a word. Instead, it presents it as a declaration that you are ready to welcome new relationships and embrace whatever opportunities those connections may bring. According to the message, Up. This declaration signals your willingness to receive what it calls the breaking of the second seal. The message then announces that the second seal has been broken. It declares that the season of isolation has come to an end and that new relationships are already beginning to move toward you. Some, it suggests, may appear within days, while others could arrive over the coming weeks. Whenever they do, the message says you will recognize them because they will encourage you, strengthen your confidence, and help reveal abilities that may have remained hidden for years. It encourages you to remain watchful as those relationships develop. Rather than expecting dramatic introductions, the message suggests these connections may appear naturally through ordinary conversations, unexpected meetings, or opportunities that seem small at first, but later prove significant. It presents these moments as meaningful parts of a larger journey that is gradually unfolding. With the second seal complete, the message turns to what it describes as the third and final seal. Unlike the previous two, this one is introduced as the seal over your purpose. According to the message, this is the barrier that has prevented you from fully stepping into the life you were created to live. It connects this seal to feelings of confusion, uncertainty, and the sense that something important has always been missing despite your efforts. The message explains that this seal has kept you waiting for the right moment. It suggests that although you may have searched repeatedly for direction, clarity always seemed just out of reach. Now, however, it declares that the waiting season is coming to an end, and that the time to move forward has finally arrived. Unlike the earlier seals, the third one is described as requiring complete surrender rather than simply beginning to crack. According to the message, this seal must be shattered entirely, and doing so demands greater faith than before. It asks you to believe that your life carries a purpose greater than your present circumstances, and that there is a unique assignment waiting specifically for you. The message continues by encouraging you to move forward even when every detail of the future remains unclear. It suggests that clarity often comes after taking the first step rather than before it. Instead of waiting until every question has been answered, you are encouraged to trust the process and continue moving with confidence. It also speaks about entering a completely new season. This is described as a season marked by greater purpose, renewed direction, and increasing understanding. According to the message, experiences that once seemed confusing may eventually begin to fit together, revealing how different moments in your life have been preparing you for what comes next. At the same time, the message stresses that stepping into this new season requires leaving certain things behind. Fear, lingering doubt, and the desire to control every outcome are described as burdens that cannot be carried into the future. It encourages you to release those obstacles and embrace the possibility that growth often begins outside familiar surroundings. As one final act of participation before the third seal is opened, the message asks you to share it with at least one other person. It describes sharing not simply as passing along information, but as a personal declaration that you are ready to embrace the next chapter. According to the message, this act demonstrates your willingness to move forward and symbolizes the opening of the final seal. The message then declares that the third seal has been shattered. It says your purpose is now unlocked and that, from this point onward, you will begin viewing your life differently. Situations that once seemed confusing may become clearer. Hidden opportunities may become visible, and possibilities that previously escaped your attention may begin to stand out. According to the message, this marks the beginning of a new season of alignment, and it concludes by hinting that something even greater is about to be revealed beyond the three seals. According to the message, resources that once seemed out of reach may begin appearing with surprising timing. Financial help, useful tools, or opportunities that once seemed impossible could suddenly become available, not necessarily because circumstances changed overnight, but because new doors have begun to open. To illustrate this idea, the message describes several possibilities. An unexpected payment may arrive when it is most needed. A phone call could present an opportunity you never expected to receive. Resources that seemed hidden for years may suddenly become visible, reminding you that answers sometimes exist much closer than you realized. The second way the divine magnet is described as working involves people. According to the message, the right mentors, partners, supporters, and encouragers will begin entering your life naturally. Instead of constantly searching for the right connections, it suggests that those individuals may be drawn toward you through circumstances you could never have planned yourself. The message paints a picture of someone mentioning your name in an important conversation, another person recognizing potential in you that others failed to notice, or someone unexpectedly reaching out with encouragement or opportunity. These moments are presented not as random coincidences, but as examples of how the divine magnet is believed to work by bringing meaningful relationships together at the right time. The third area involves favor. According to the message, situations that once seemed impossible may begin changing unexpectedly. Places where you experienced rejection could become places of acceptance. Individuals who previously overlooked you may begin noticing your abilities, while opportunities that once disappeared may return with renewed possibility. It continues by describing doors that once remained firmly closed suddenly opening and obstacles that once blocked your progress gradually clearing away. It asks you to consider how someone would live if they truly expected a breakthrough to arrive. Would they continue speaking with hope instead of discouragement? Would they make decisions with confidence instead of fear? According to the message, these next 72 hours are meant to reflect the mindset of someone who believes that positive change is already in motion. Prayer is introduced as one of the most important parts of this period. The message explains that this does not refer only to scheduled moments of formal prayer, but to maintaining an ongoing conversation throughout the day. It encourages you to share your thoughts, ask for guidance, express your concerns, and remain aware of God's presence in ordinary moments as well as extraordinary ones. According to the message, this constant communication keeps your attention centered on heaven rather than on fear or uncertainty. Instead of carrying every burden alone, you are invited to place those concerns before God repeatedly, trusting that guidance will come at the appropriate time. The message suggests that maintaining this relationship helps keep your focus steady even when circumstances remain unchanged. Gratitude is presented as another essential part of this season. Rather than waiting until every prayer appears to be answered, the message encourages giving thanks in advance. It explains that gratitude expresses confidence that something meaningful is already taking place, even when visible evidence has not yet appeared. The message specifically encourages thanking God for what has already been set in motion, for the opening of the seals, for the opportunities believed to be approaching, and for the future that is being prepared. According to the message, gratitude reflects trust and demonstrates a willingness to believe before every answer becomes visible. Expectation is also emphasized throughout this period. Each new day is described as an opportunity to remain alert for unexpected, meaningful experiences. According to the message, these moments should not be dismissed immediately as mere coincidence but viewed as possible reminders to remain attentive and grateful. When such moments occur, the message encourages responding with gratitude rather than skepticism. Saying thank you aloud is presented as a way of acknowledging God's presence and recognizing that your prayers have not gone unheard. It suggests that appreciation strengthens your awareness of the blessings already beginning to unfold. The message then summarizes several practical reminders for this important period. First, it encourages guarding your words carefully. Complaints, repeated expressions of doubt, and constant focus on problems are presented as habits that can pull your attention away from hope. Instead, viewers are urged to speak words associated with life, victory, faith, and expectation. Second, the message returns once again to the importance of protecting your mind. It advises limiting exposure to voices that constantly produce discouragement while choosing instead to focus on messages that strengthen confidence and hope. According to the message, what fills your thoughts will eventually influence your actions. Third, viewers are reminded to remain observant. Even seemingly small events may carry greater significance than they first appear to have. The message encourages paying attention throughout the coming days, believing that meaningful opportunities often arrive quietly rather than dramatically. As this section begins drawing toward its conclusion, the tone becomes increasingly encouraging. The message declares that something has already shifted, suggesting that the atmosphere surrounding your life is no longer the same as it was before. According to the message, a new season has begun, and the process already set in motion cannot easily be reversed. It continues by reminding you that you remained until this point instead of turning away earlier. According to the message, that willingness to stay demonstrates commitment, patience, and a genuine desire to receive what has been shared. In return, it declares that heaven has also responded with seriousness, affirming that this moment represents the beginning of something greater. Finally, before bringing everything to a close, the message offers one more reassurance. It reminds you that you are never truly alone, describing God's presence as remaining with you through every decision, every challenge, and every new opportunity. Whatever lies ahead, the message promises that the next chapter of your journey will not be one you are expected to face by yourself. As the message reaches its conclusion, it offers one final reminder meant to bring confidence and reassurance. It says that God's presence is not limited to extraordinary moments or special occasions but remains with you every day. In every breath you take, every step you walk, and every decision you face, the message emphasizes that you are never abandoned, never forgotten, and never left to carry life's burdens on your own. Looking ahead, the message paints a picture of a new chapter beginning to unfold. It suggests that obstacles which once appeared impossible may gradually give way to new opportunities. Mountains that once seemed impossible to climb and valleys that once felt overwhelming are presented as challenges that can ultimately become part of your growth rather than the end of your journey. According to the message, you are encouraged to move forward with confidence because you do not walk alone. Before closing, the message once again draws attention to the support link available through the pinned comment. It reminds viewers that every contribution, regardless of its size, helps continue the mission of creating and sharing encouraging content. Developments. The message encourages waking each morning with anticipation, checking your phone with hope instead of anxiety, opening your mailbox expecting encouraging news, and remaining attentive to conversations or opportunities that might otherwise be overlooked. It explains that breakthroughs are sometimes missed because people stop expecting them altogether. According to the message, maintaining a hopeful attitude allows you to recognize meaningful opportunities when they appear, instead of dismissing them as ordinary coincidences. The message then shifts toward protecting your thoughts. It encourages being intentional about what you allow into your mind during these 72 hours. News that creates fear, social media that fuels unhealthy comparison, entertainment that deepens discouragement, or conversations filled with constant negativity are all presented as influences that can weaken confidence and distract from the path ahead. Instead, viewers are encouraged to fill their minds with messages of hope, truth, and encouragement. According to the message, everything you choose to consume during this period either strengthens your faith or strengthens your fear, making every daily choice more significant than it may initially seem. Attention then returns to the possibility of receiving a sign during these 72 hours. The message says that the first indication of change may arrive in ways that seem ordinary at first glance. It could be a phone call from someone you have not heard from in years, an unexpected email presenting an opportunity, a message containing exactly the guidance you needed, or financial provision arriving from an entirely unexpected source. Other possibilities are mentioned as well. A conversation occurring at precisely the right moment, an invitation that opens a new path, or a simple encounter that changes your perspective could all become. It also reinforces the importance of guarding your thoughts and your environment beyond the initial 72 hours. Choosing encouraging influences, spending time with supportive people, and remaining focused on positive habits are presented as ongoing practices rather than one-time decisions. According to the message, Consistency matters just as much as the enthusiasm felt at the beginning of the journey. Attention then shifts once more toward recognizing opportunities when they appear. The message encourages remaining attentive because answers do not always arrive in dramatic ways. Sometimes they come through ordinary conversations, unexpected invitations, small financial improvements, new friendships, or fresh perspectives that gradually reshape the direction of your life. As the closing continues, the message reminds viewers that progress often happens one step at a time. Not every breakthrough appears instantly, and not every answer arrives exactly as expected. Even so, it encourages patience, perseverance, and confidence that each faithful step contributes to the larger picture that is gradually unfolding. The message also emphasizes that hope should remain stronger than fear. When uncertainty appears, viewers are encouraged to remember the promises described throughout the message rather than allowing anxiety to become the dominant voice. Confidence, gratitude, and faith are repeatedly presented as attitudes that prepare someone to recognize opportunities instead of overlooking them. Returning once again to the community, the creators share another heartfelt update about the channel itself. They explain that YouTube has recently demonetized the channel, meaning it no longer receives earnings from the videos despite the significant time, editing, effort, and resources required to produce each one. Support is described as an investment in spreading hope to others while helping sustain the work behind each video. The message then summarizes everything that has been presented throughout the journey. It declares that the 3 spiritual seals have now been broken. The barriers over provision, relationships, and purpose have each been addressed, and the divine magnet has been described as active, attracting the resources, people, and opportunities believed to be needed for the season ahead. With those images in mind, viewers are encouraged to move forward with strength, peace, and renewed confidence. It continues by inviting you to leave this experience believing that something meaningful has already begun. Rather than remaining trapped by fear or uncertainty, the message encourages walking with hope and expectation. Every new opportunity, every conversation, and every unexpected event is presented as something worth paying attention to because meaningful change often arrives in ways that are not immediately obvious. The message then returns to the importance of maintaining the habits discussed during the 72-hour period. Continue speaking words of faith instead of defeat. Continue expressing gratitude even before every answer becomes visible. Continue praying consistently rather than only during moments of crisis. According to the message, these practices help keep your attention fixed on hope instead of discouragement. Another important reminder follows: do not allow temporary setbacks to erase your confidence. Challenges may still appear, unexpected delays may still happen, and difficult moments may still test your patience. However, the message encourages viewing those moments as temporary rather than permanent, believing that they do not define the direction of your future. Unexpected problems, stressful situations, or minor crises could compete for your attention and attempt to shift your focus away from the progress being made. According to the message, these moments should not become your primary focus because they can prevent you from recognizing the opportunities already beginning to unfold. Even while describing these possible challenges, the overall tone remains reassuring. The message repeatedly emphasizes that you are not expected to face these situations alone. It describes divine protection surrounding you, presenting the image of a shield that remains firmly in place despite whatever opposition may arise. It goes on to declare that harmful plans formed against you will ultimately fail to accomplish their purpose. No accusation, discouragement, or attempt to block your progress is presented as having the final word. Instead, the message encourages you to remember that you are protected, guided, and strengthened throughout every stage of the journey. With that reassurance established, the message begins preparing you for what it calls the 72-hour window, describing it as an especially important period that follows the breaking of the seals. According to the message, the next 3 days carry unique significance, and how you respond during that time is presented as an important part of everything that comes next. The message now turns its attention to what it calls the 72-hour window, describing it as a period of unusual spiritual significance. According to the message, the next 3 days represent more than simply waiting for change. They are presented as a time when your faith is put into practice. Rather than focusing only on what you believe, the message encourages you to demonstrate that belief through your words, your actions, and your daily attitude. These changes are presented as evidence that circumstances can shift in ways that are difficult to predict, creating possibilities that once seemed beyond reach. The message then explains that cooperating with the divine magnet requires more than simply waiting. It emphasizes the importance of your words, suggesting that the way you speak influences the direction of your thinking and your expectations. According to the message, constantly speaking about failure, lack, or loneliness reinforces those patterns, while speaking with hope and expectation encourages a different perspective. For that reason, viewers are encouraged to speak words associated with provision, meaningful relationships, breakthrough, and victory. The message suggests that your daily conversation should reflect the future you hope to experience rather than only the difficulties of the present. It presents this practice as an important part of remaining aligned with the promises that have already been described. However, the message quickly introduces an important warning. It says that once this divine magnet becomes active, spiritual resistance may also increase. According to the message, opposition often appears when someone is preparing to move into a new season of life, making it important to remain steady rather than becoming discouraged. It explains that this resistance may appear in several forms. Some people may question your faith, criticize your choices, or discourage your confidence. Others may unintentionally speak negatively about your future or make you wonder whether you are truly moving in the right direction. Rather than viewing these moments as proof that something has gone wrong, the message presents them as challenges that require perseverance. The message also warns that distractions may suddenly increase. With all three seals now described as opened, the message introduces what it calls a fourth element, something that is released only after the previous stages have been completed. It presents this as a spiritual force referred to as the divine magnet, describing it as a power that begins drawing the right opportunities, relationships, and resources into your life. According to the message, this marks a shift from constantly chasing what you need to becoming someone who naturally attracts what has been prepared for you. Before explaining this idea further, the message pauses to address the community directly. It shares that the YouTube channel has recently been demonetized, meaning it no longer receives revenue from its videos despite the time, effort, editing, and resources invested in producing each one. The creators explain that their desire is to continue sharing uplifting and encouraging messages, but doing so has become increasingly difficult without financial support. Viewers are then invited to help sustain the channel through the Buy Me a Coffee link provided in the pinned comment and video description. The message expresses sincere gratitude to everyone who has watched, supported, prayed, or contributed in any way, emphasizing that even a small donation helps keep the mission alive and allows more inspirational content to be created for the community. Returning to the main message, the focus shifts once again to the idea of the divine magnet. It is described as a spiritual force that begins attracting everything necessary for the next chapter of your life. Rather than relying solely on endless effort, the message suggests that certain opportunities will begin finding their way to you naturally, arriving at the right time and in unexpected ways. The first area this magnet is said to influence is provision. Even so, their commitment remains the same. They want to continue creating messages that inspire, encourage, and bring hope to viewers around the world. Because continuing that mission has become increasingly difficult without financial support, they humbly invite anyone who has benefited from the content to consider helping through the Buy Me a Coffee link available in both the pinned comment and the video description. They explain that every contribution, regardless of the amount, directly supports future videos and helps keep the channel active for everyone who continues to watch. The message closes with sincere appreciation for every prayer, every encouraging comment, every share, and every act of generosity received from the community. Gratitude is expressed not only for financial support but also for the encouragement that viewers continue to provide through their participation and kindness. Finally, the narration ends with a message of blessing and encouragement. Viewers are invited to move forward in peace, confidence, and hope, carrying with them the reminder that they are not alone. The seals have been described as broken, the divine magnet has been presented as active, and a new season has been declared to have begun. With those closing words, the message leaves viewers with one final thought. Whatever the future holds, continue walking forward with faith, remain grateful for each new day, stay attentive to opportunities that arise, and remember that every journey unfolds one step at a time. According to the message, the next chapter is already beginning, and now it is time to move into it with courage, hope, and unwavering confidence.